morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of voice of radio, so today, I'm a little bit excited. This is the third and final video commissioned by the lovely folks over at the Pokemon trading card game, the third video they've paid me to do, and oh my goodness, this one's fun. And what they did was they hooked me up with a lovely local game store who was running an online tournament. And they were like, hey, do you want to join in? And I was like, yes, that sounds like an awful lot of fun. And I got to chat with my opponents before and after the games, and I played all 4 rounds. And oh my goodness, it was a blast. Which brings me to my next point. If you haven't done so already, you should be getting in touch with your local game store, asking them to be running events on PTCGO, because why would you not? It's awesome. Seriously, I had so much fun on Saturday. Saturday was when I did it. I had so much fun on Saturday. Now, I played this exact Dragapult list. This is my 60-card list. I did a video yesterday where I made this and another deck. And oh my goodness, it's a fun deck. I don't know if it's my favorite deck. I'll be honest with you on that one. I don't know if it's my favorite deck, but it's got lots of tricks and lots of options. It's not the deck I would usually play, but it's like, you know what? Rebel Clash has just come out, and I kind of like Rebel Clash. And I want to play a new deck with Rebel Clash. And as much as I love Bolton, Dragapult is probably a better new deck, so let's play some Dragapult. So sit yourselves down, grab yourselves a nice cold beverage, and what you're going to see is 4 rounds of me playing this Dragapult against lovely folks through the wonder of PTCGO. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so we do have round 1 rolling now. Oh, that is not what I'm looking for as a starting Pokemon. Might as well put Inkay down, I suppose. Not what we're looking for. I was hoping to have a better start than this, if I'm honest with you. We are playing what looks to be like a little 4-round tournament, so it looks like we're playing against a fire deck. Is it going to be more Reshiram and Charizard focused, or is it going to be more Blacephalon, Blounds as they call it? Because Blacephalon and Clowns and all of that good stuff. Now, oh, yeah, so it does look like it is very much a baby Blacephalon kind of deck. This is not a phenomenal matchup for Dragapult. It's not a terrible matchup, but it's a matchup where you want to get going. Going second, not ideal. Starting with an Inkay and a Giratina. And Giratina's a pointless card in this deck, in this particular matchup. So I can either play a Marnie, but bearing in mind all I've got is Inkay, so I'd be going down to a 4-card hand for very, very little, a 5-card hand. Or I can play Professor's Research and lose a whole bunch of resources. It is a painful Professor's Research. Okay. I can work with this. This is not ideal by any stretch of the imagination, but I can at least get myself a Dragapult, and I can get myself a Horror Energy on 2 Dragapult. I kind of want to play the second Mysterious Treasure, but I need to switch for next turn. I need the Horror Energy and I need the Professor's Research, so that is literally my turn 1. Hopefully he doesn't KO the Inkay, because I have no recovery cards and I kind of want the Inkay. So hopefully he doesn't get a KO this turn. To be fair, it would take. He's got quite a big hand. That would have been the one reason to play Marnie. Getting a KO this turn is possible for him. He will need, assuming he's playing Blacephalon, which I'm imagining he is, then he will need a switch. He will then need Blacephalon, Welder with 2 energy in hand, plus a 3rd energy, plus 2 energy in hand. So he'll need 5 energy with a Welder and a Blacephalon, and then he would be able to get the KO. He's got quite a large hand. The thing is, last turn, Marnie would have been perfect. Okay, right, so we're okay here. We are surviving for the first turn, and now we're feeling pretty good about this. Because in theory, oh, that lucky egg's going to hurt. But because that lets him draw until he's got 7 cards left at the end of his turn. So he drops 3 damage counters, but that's all right. This is going fine. Oh, and that's actually perfect. So we drop the Horror Energy onto Dragapult. We can afford to lose the Marnie with Mysterious Treasure because we know we're going to play Professor's Research here. We can grab ourselves a Dragapult VMAX. So now I get the VMAX rolling with a giant attack with double Horror Energy. The reason we love Malamar here is because the Horror Energy is special. We do run the risk of having it all taken away. So this is really, really nice. The reason why we are going, because here we could have gone Marnie. Marnie would have been a potentially really nice option here, but there's literally no reason to go Marnie. Because The problem is, if I go for Marnie, I'm going to knock out his Mew, and he's going to draw until he's got 7 cards in hand anyway. So there's no reason to play Marnie. I might as well get the hand advantage with Professor's Research. Now, here is a really fun little play we can make. So we're going to Quick Ball. We'll get rid of the switch. Now, assuming it's not prized, which it's not, this is going to be fun. So here's what we do. We drop the Galarian Zigzagoon and we drop a damage counter onto Jirachi. We can then play Scoop Up Net to pick up the Galarian Zigzagoon, and then we can play it down to drop another damage counter onto Jirachi. Now, the chances of him attacking this turn are very, very slim, but I'm going to research next turn anyway, so I'm going to drop the Giant Bomb down, not because I think I'm necessarily going to need it, but because I don't think I'm going to use it next turn, shall we say. And now I can Max Phantom for the KO on the Mew, and then drop 5 damage counters on Jirachi, taking a double KO. Now, there is an argument to try and weaken up the Zacian, because it gives up 2 prizes, but I don't really want to weaken up the Zacian right now. Oh, there's the Malamar, that's nice. The reason to take out the Jirachi, and it's a very good reason, incidentally, is because if I KO the Mew, what my opponent does is puts Jirachi active and uses Stellar Wish. Well, I don't want them to use Stellar Wish, quite frankly. So what we do instead is we take out the Jirachi, and then he's got to put something like a Zacian active, but that Zacian isn't attacking. So I'm basically getting a free hit on the Zacian. So he uses Intrepid Sword to basically draw 3 cards. Now this would be the Marnie turn. By the way, if anyone's wondering why I didn't keep the switch to potentially reuse Jirachi, I don't currently have a skateboard and it's too risky. Speaking of risky, I'm only playing 3 of these. There is one that isn't prized. Wonderful. So now I get that dude back. And what I can actually do is attach the energy. Oh, no, I shouldn't have attached that. I should have discarded it with Professor's Research so that I could then have accelerated it using that. But this is fine. This is working. Now, do I need to save a bench space? I kind of want to play Viridian Forest, but he's struggling for energy. So I think I'm going to save that for now. I'm going to save Giant Bomb because I've only got 1 left. And I really do want to leave it for a turn when it's going to really come up. I kind of want to bench the Oranguru, but I don't feel the need to bench Oranguru right now. I don't really need very much. So I think it's back to just going Max Phantom and then dropping 5 damage counters on the Oricorio. Now, the good news is, if that Zacian, I don't think it's going to, incidentally, but if that Zacian does attack into Dragapult here, they're going to take 4 damage counters off of the Horror Energy, which will then put Zacian at 170, and remember that with Max Phantom, I'm dropping 5 damage counters, so this will be going quite nicely. Now, this is essentially the turn. This is where my opponent can bring it back. This is the turn where they can potentially take a giant KO on the Dragapult V, but the good news is, see, I've not been able to use Marnie to keep the hand size down. So there goes Heat Factory Prism Star. They're going to need 7 energy in hand to get a KO. And that's after getting a 3rd energy on Blacephalon. Oh, there's Fiery Flint. And they might actually have it here. But the hope is that essentially, See, I might lose the Dragapult now, but I'm not too worried at the moment. Oh, see, and there goes Fire Crystal. So now, so he's got the energy here. He's got the KO if he's got a switch, which we know he has. So he is going to get the KO with Blacephalon here, which is roundly terrifying. If I can find Dragapult V here, I'm not worried. See, this, I should have dropped Giant Bomb. That's such a downside. If I'd have dropped the Giant Bomb there, he would have taken a KO to get the KO. So not playing the Giant Bomb last turn was a fairly big mistake, quite frankly. And now I'm in an awkward situation. Okay, so we're going to put Jirachi active. What we need is Dragapult VMAX, and we want to drop the Marnie. Because then we get the KO on Blacephalon, we whittle down the Zacian, and then in theory, a boss's orders wins us the game next turn. So we'll drop Oranguru there, This basically just lets us see an extra card. We're not going to need Jirachi, so let's just see an extra card here. Quick Ball doesn't really help, so we use Stellar Wish. Okay, right. And we've got a Mysterious Treasure. Now, the awkward situation here is we don't actually have a way to get the Jirachi out the active. So, what we can do is discard the energy to grab the VMAX. And then we can Malamar the energy back on. There's no horror energy here, but I honestly don't... I think we've gotten beyond the point where horror energy is going to be terribly useful. I am regretting not dropping that giant bomb, incidentally. Dropping that giant bomb basically would have won me the game, but I didn't. Now. Okay, I'm going to have to play the horror energy onto Jirachi. I really don't want to. Now, we need to be very, very careful here, because, see, there's no point even dropping a giant bomb, because if he had... No, there's no point dropping a giant bomb this turn. We will play Viridian Forest just to get rid of his stadium. And no, I want to keep the Dedenne for next turn. So we're just going to Marnie and hopefully hurt my opponent. Okay, this is cool. Now, the bad news is I did get the escape board. I would much rather have kept the horror energy, but you can't win them all. Now, in theory, next turn, I boss his orders to bring up the Oricorio, and I knock out the Oricorio, and I knock out the Zacian, and I actually take 4 prizes next turn, when I only need to take 3. Right. Now, if I drop 4 damage onto him... Oh, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Let's just drop them all on Zacian. Let's do it nicely. So now it's over to my opponent. There is a possibility that he wins this turn. And if he wins this turn, congratulations to him. There's nothing I can do. In order for my opponent to get the win this turn, they need to find the Blacephalon. They need to have a welder to attach 2 energy, and they need a 3rd energy. They need a switch, and they need 7 energy in hand. And it's possible, especially with the Oricorio drawing 3 cards. We did get rid of the Heat Factory Prism Star, which is good. But this is one of those turns I don't believe my opponent is going to win the game this turn. Maybe they've got a Reset Stamp. Reset Stamp would be really good for them right now. Oh, that's 5 energy. But they need 10 energy total. They need 3 to attach to Blacephalon and 7 in hand. And this is one of those games, right? If I lose this game, yes, there was the giant bomb play. But if my opponent can go from a 4-card hand to a 3 energy Blacephalon with 7 energy in hand and... Oh my goodness, that's the energy. If he's got the switch, I think he's legitimately got this game. And there's nothing I can do about it. There's the switch, and I think all those... Oh, and he's got another Fire Crystal. I Marnied him to 4. I Marnied him to 4 cards. I really don't think much more could have been expected from me on that one, I'm afraid. The Giant Bomb was a bit of a pain, but to be honest, the Giant Bomb wouldn't have made a huge difference. I still wouldn't have won the game, and he would have won the game that turn. The Giant Bomb would have KO'd the Blacephalon initially, and that would have been way better. But the fact of the matter is, even that earlier Giant Bomb getting a KO, I still wouldn't have taken any extra prizes. When you Marnie somebody to 4 cards, and they get 3 energy on a Blacephalon and 7 energy in hand and the switch. And like I say, the other play, there was the Marnie earlier in the game, but the Marnie earlier in the game would have put me to a 5-card hand with nothing on the board, and that was far too risky. I suppose we better try again with round 2 then, hadn't we? Alrighty then, so game 2. Hopefully game 2 will go better than game 1. I would have liked to have finished 4-0. I think 4-0 is, oh. Now, he was telling me he was stolen lists from Joe, and I was speaking to Joe Bernard, lovely dude, and he, I know he's playing, like, dirty lists with all kinds of tricks to try and beat every deck, so I am slightly reticent, shall we say. I am moderately concerned that he's going to be playing some kind of counter deck. And that's the problem with playing something like, Adventure Bag. So, so there's definitely going to be, there's going to be some Spiritomb in this deck. and Spiritomb are designed to try and one-hit KO Dragapult. This is a kind of deck I was going to play, incidentally. This is my kind of deck. Okay, I think that's literally my entire turn. Yeah, nothing else I can really do here. He is going to confuse and poison me, but that shouldn't matter, because in theory, I will draw Dragapult VMAX, and Dragapult VMAX is really good for allowing you to, you know, when you evolve, you get out of special conditions. I'm just trying to run for this in my head. This is exactly the kind of deck I would usually play. Now, because, and I've said this at the beginning of the video, I am making these videos at the behest of Pokemon. So one of the things Pokemon wanted me to do was to basically make a video showcasing Rebel Clash. And what I didn't want to do, that's just reminding me about the poison and confusion rules. Right. Now, what we want to do there is put a damage counter onto Spiritomb, because in theory here, what we do is I need the VMAX. I desperately need the VMAX. If I hit the VMAX here, I'll KO Nihilego and I'll KO Spiritomb on the bench. We haven't got it. We haven't hit it. So this is not what we would generally want to be doing here. Oh, my Oranguru's prize. I'm looking for Oranguru basically because Oranguru just gives me one more option here. Is it worth using Fione to try and get that Nihilego out of the active? See, I'm confused. There's no way I'm going to flip for confusion. That's just not happening. Do I go Giratina to get rid of his energy? I think I go Giratina to get rid of his energy here. Oh my... That was supposed to be a Dedenne. That was a gigantic misplay. I meant to go and get Dedenne there. That was absolutely Dedenne. I was thinking a turn ahead. There's no way I'm flipping for confusion. So we might as well retreat into Jirachi. But that was a terrible misplay. I meant to go and get Dedenne, with the theory being, now we do have Mallow and Lana there, we do have Boss's Orders, but I'm going to have to play Professor's Research next turn. I could Boss's Orders if he's only got one Spiritomb left. Yeah, and even if he doesn't and even if I have to discard it, I can reuse it later using Mewtwo. So let's go and get a Boss's Orders. Now, having said that, I don't actually have a way to get Jirachi out of the active at the moment. I suppose we'll worry about that in a moment. So that was a really bad turn. I should have gone and got Dedenne. The theory was get the Dragapult VMAX, take a double KO on the Nihilego and the Spiritomb. What I'm doing now is I'm giving my opponent time. Now, in theory, and it takes quite a lot, but if he's got a way to gust up the Dragapult, he basically needs like 3 energy and a Hustle Belt on Spiritomb. Or 3 damage counter, sorry. But now that and there is 1 damage on because I put it on with Zigzagoon, and then he gets the Big Charm, and the Big Charm means I cannot KO it with residual damage, which is absolutely what I was looking to do previously. So this is bad. This is pretty bad. What I basically need is I need an energy, and I need a Dragapult VMAX, and I need a way to get Jirachi out the active while also playing Boss's Orders, which just isn't happening. And now, in order to KO that Spiritomb, I need to get 3 energy? No. I need to get 4 damage on there, which just isn't happening without Boss's Orders. So, do I wait a turn? I mean, frankly, I've just misplayed myself out of this game. In the previous game against Blounds, I was going, right, well, you know what? There's very little I can do about this, blah, 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 blah. That's not the case here. Here, there absolutely is something I can do about this. This is a problem when I'm commentating and trying to play. I did a silly, quite frankly. Not getting that Dedenne was huge. Now, I don't really want to bench a 2-prize Pokemon, let's be clear. But if I do bench a 2-prize Pokemon, then I discard my hand, I draw 6 cards. All I needed, the only card I needed, was the VMAX. And I whiffed it. And now I'm potentially letting him get a KO with Spiritomb. And if he's KOing a free prize Pokemon with a 1 prize Pokemon, that is phenomenal for him. And if I was playing now, this is just going to turn into a giant game of chicken. Because now, in theory, if I get 2 scoop up nets... No, okay. Do I have another Dragapult? So, we Professor's Research. What do we get? We hit double scoop up net, but oh, for goodness sake. Right, okay. So we have a skateboard. We can do this, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a janky turn, but we can do it. So the Spiritomb now has 90 HP. So what we do is we scoop up net the Zigzagoon, and then we play it down to drop onto Spiritomb. And then we scoop up net the Zigzagoon, and we drop it down to go on to Spiritomb. Now it's in KO range again. Now we've got the escape board on Jirachi, so we can attach the energy to Dragapult. But now what? This deck plays 3 Dragapult. Oh, we Jirachi. We need something off this Jirachi. Oh, perfect. Okay. We're back in the game, ladies and gentlemen. Because I cannot Dedenne here. Because if I play Dedenne, then I have to drop my Dragapult. But I've only got 1 Dragapult left in the deck, and I'm not playing any recovery. So if I drop it, I lose as soon as 1 Dragapult goes down. So now I can VMAX. Now I can retreat. And now I can max Phantom and get the KO on Spiritomb as well. To be clear, this is not a great matchup for me because my opponent is trying to beat Dragapult. When you're playing at the moment, there are basically 2 decks you're going after. There are 2 things that you're trying to beat. 3 things. It is Pikachu and Zekrom. It is Dragapult VMAX, and it is Blacephalon, the deck we played in round 1. They are basically the 3 decks you are going hard after. Oh, how cheeky do I get here? How cheeky do I get? Because bearing in mind, I've got Giratina in the discard pile. Problem, and I can use that to drop 1 damage counter on a bent Spiritomb. But the issue is, if I do that, I don't have a bench space left for Dragapult. Now, this Jinx is a problem. This Jinx is a big problem. What it does is it moves a damage counter from one of your opponent's Pokemon to another of them. And that means, I mean, the way the maths works, if a Spiritomb uses its ability to put a damage counter on itself, and then they move the damage to, and then they use a second Spiritomb, and they use Jinx to move the damage over, and then they attach a Rainbow Energy, so that's 1 from Spiritomb, 1 moved from Jinx, and there is 1 on the Nihilego to move, plus Rainbow Energy, that's free energy with a Hustle Belt here, will get a KO. That will get a KO with Spiritomb. I've done the maths myself. Now, let's assume my opponent doesn't, and there's the Hustle Belt. But they do go into the deck, not the hand. Assuming my opponent doesn't get a KO here, I am good. Because what I do is I boss his orders up the Jinx. I do bring the Giratina from my discard pile onto my bench. I drop 1 damage on the Spiritomb. I then KO the active Jinx while dropping the 5 damage onto the Spiritomb. Is he listening? Is he listening? No, I'm muted. That was very strange. I'm fairly sure he can't hear me. I'm fairly sure I'm muted here. But that was weird timing. That was incredibly weird timing. Because I had the KO ready to go. Yeah, the Buzzwole here, it makes perfect sense. Now we can actually switch to Jirachi here, so let's do that and get my Stellar Wish on. So we've got Switch, we've got Mysterious Treasure. Might be worth grabbing. The thing is, I don't want a Professor's Research while I've got my last Dragapult essentially in hand. I'd much rather Marnie right now. So, do I need anything with Mysterious Treasure? Not really. I could switch so I can... Yeah, let's grab a switch so we can get out the active next turn. Now, I've got 200, so there's nothing he's really threatening me with here. Do I just go after the Jinx while I can? I go after the Jinx. I definitely go after the Jinx. And there's an argument that what I should have done was gone for Mysterious Treasure there so that I could get a Mewtwo next turn. I mean, that's definitely the right play here. Yeah, okay. So then what I do is I use Max Phantom, and I actually drop 4 damage counters onto the Oricorio, because that then brings it into Max Phantom range, and 1 on the Jirachi, because then I can use my Giratina to drop another damage on Jirachi, and then it is KO'd by the residual damage from Max Phantom. So no, I definitely should have got Mysterious Treasure off the Jirachi. Like I've said, this is a brand new deck. I did play... I played about a dozen games of this with various lists. I really liked the Jirachi Prism Star list, so lets you take cheeky extra prizes. But, shall we say it didn't really work. What I really want now is I want bench space. I am regretting dropping that Giratina, really. Because what I really want now, I want to be able to bench Dragapult, but I need that Giratina at some point. Having that Giratina to be able to drop extra damage is just huge. But I might... To be fair, I can get my Malamar and use Dragapult V's 140 attack. Not ideal, but doable. Although, to be fair, I've only got 1 Dragapult left for the game. See, my opponent here, between Jirachi and Oricorio, they've got a lot of options. What I need a boss's orders next turn. Simple as that. I need a boss's orders to take a free prize turn. So I can KO the Jirachi in that. So there goes the Spiritomb. But I can KO the Spiritomb. And there's the Hustle Belt. And there's that. Oh, he's got it, though. He's got it because I've already got damage on me. Oh, this is bad, ladies and gentlemen. This is bad. Yeah, it's a problem with this is it is such a bad matchup. And you see, now I don't have the VMAX ready because I've been saving a bench space for the whole game. I just don't have it ready to go. And I can KO with Bite, right? I can bite him and beat him, but that's not really what we're going for here. Yeah. Now, he does need 1 more damage on the Spiritomb, mind you. He needs another... He needs to get another damage counter on the Spiritomb to activate Hustle Belt. Hustle Belt only works if you have a 3rd damage counter on. So there's Adventure Bag. Well, essentially, he needs Jinx here. Now, if he doesn't have Jinx, we're good. He's got to take the KO. This is the key turn of the game. If he takes the KO here, there is an excellent chance that I lose. If he doesn't take the KO here, there is an excellent, excellent chance that I win. Far from guaranteed. So there goes the Stellar Wish. I will bench the Dragapult, incidentally. The Dragapult is going down. It probably should be down already. The reason it wasn't is very simple. I am aware of how important those Spiritomb are to my opponent, and I have been stashing for the entire game. I have been stashing this dude in my discard. Because I know that any time I can just go Giratina, drop a damage on the bench Spiritomb, and then use Max Phantom to KO. And that is the entire game for me. There is nothing in his deck that worries me other than Spiritomb. If he's not playing Spiritomb, and see, this is why I don't need to Dene on the bench unless it's desperate. So, I know, and he knows he's giving up 2 prizes at this stage. So, he knows that Spiritomb is his key to victory, and I know that Spiritomb is his key to victory. It is as simple as that. As a man who loves playing janky counter decks, I have I have multiple Spiritomb decks, in fact. Spiritomb is one of my very, very favourite Pokemon in the entire format right now. And now that Dragapult is, I would say, probably the 2nd best deck after Pikachu and Zekrom. But he doesn't have the KO here. He's hitting 140. And I don't think there's any way for him to add damage to it at this stage. He needs 30 or less HP remaining in order to get the Hustle Bout activated. Yeah. So this is fine. Now, he is trying to prevent a double KO here. Is there anything we can do about that? So, we might as well switch up Jirachi, because we can escape board it in a bit. We might as well Dragapult. We cannot discard the Dragapult VMAX yet. So, let's Stellar Wish. We really wanted Boss's Orders there. We'll deal with Marnie. But we wanted Boss's Orders there. Because Boss's Orders would have enabled a double KO turn. Right, okay, so now we can Giant Bomb, and Giant Bomb becomes a really good option here. Now we go for the Dragapult. Okay. To be fair, if we hit Boss's Orders here, if we hit Boss's Orders next turn, we basically win. Now, we do need the VMAX and the energy, but I feel fairly confident we can get them. So we retreat to here, we get the KO, and now we're up by 4 prize. We don't mind if our 3 prize Pokemon goes down. That doesn't worry us. So, we do take the KO there. Yeah. It's not what I really want to do, but if I leave him... Oh, that's good. That'll get us the Dragapult VMAX next turn. The theory with Jirachi is I can drop Giratina onto the bench and KO Jirachi, or I can scoop up net the Zigzagoon, because there's still 2 left in my deck, and KO the Jirachi. I know he plays scoop up net as well, and if we have a look at his discard here, he's still got 2 in his deck. But... the problem for my opponent, and don't get me wrong, right? He is playing a counter deck. He can attack twice and win the game. Let's be clear. Oh, actually, if he takes... I need an energy. Oh. See, right, here's my thinking. Let's go through the thought process. He takes a KO on Dragapult. I promote Jirachi. I use Mysterious Treasure to grab my Mewtwo. Mewtwo, when I bench it, grabs my... Oh, no, but I don't have... Okay. No, and then I need Oranguru as well. So no, Mewtwo isn't perfect yet, because I'm not quite drawing it. Although, I can Mewtwo to put the Boss's Orders on top of my deck, and then Jirachi to guarantee to find it, but I need an energy, or I need a Malamar, because if I can bring up that Oricorio and KO it, I win the game at this stage. But I do need a way to get it up. If I can Gus next turn, I win. If I can Gus something active, I win the game. I'm not worried by him trying to confuse me because I've got there we go. See, that was my worry, but it's really not the end of the world because I'm not really trying to KO that Jirachi. I'm trying to KO this Oricorio. Now, I play 2 Boss's Orders. They're both in my discard. I need Mewtwo, but I can Okay. I kind of want him to take a KO, you know. I kind of want him to take a KO. I need a bench space right now. Now, what he's doing, he is basically copying any attack on my board. So he's using Max Phantom to KO me, and he's going to drop 5 damage counters, but he's not going to take a KO doing so. I'm kind of all right with this. But I need just that little bit more. No, I can... Okay. Sorry, I'm not doing brilliantly at explaining my... Okay, so there is the second energy right there. So there's the energy onto Dragapult. Now, I just need Dragapult V. I think I can win the game here, because in theory, I Mysterious Treasure, don't need the Mew. So I grab my last Dragapult V, and then I can evolve it up. And then I can finally do what I've been threatening to do all game, and I can grab my Giratina back with Distortion Door, dropping a damage counter onto Spiritomb and onto Jinx, mostly out of spite. And then in theory, and I really hope I haven't messed this up, but if I drop 5 damage counters on the Spiritomb here, and I'm going to do the whole gentlemanly thing and not play out the rest of my turn as much as I could, really hope this doesn't backfire because I made a silly mistake. And then in theory, Spiritomb goes down as well. And that is my final 2 prizes. So we navigated the Spiritomb deck. Whew. That was a very difficult game. There was a big misplay early doors, But it didn't actually end up hurting me that much. And then I didn't have a 2-prize Jirachi on the field, so it wasn't the end of the world. We did get through it. Spiritomb against Dragapult. It is the big counter right now. Spiritomb is that card that everybody wants to play to try and take down Dragapult and trying to navigate, and we can see it can be done. Incidentally, if anyone's looking for tips, the Giratina that you can bring out the discard, way better than Galarian Zigzagoon, specifically for Spiritomb, because you can just wait until they bench it, and you can just leave a bench space open, ready to bring the Giratina back. So we brought it back to 1-1. We're not going to go 0-4. It's not going to be too weird. The strange thing is, if somebody had said you're playing Blounds and you're playing a Spiritomb Ultra Beast deck, you're going to go 1-1, I would have sworn that it was, oh, yeah, no, I will beat the Blounds, the baby Blacephalon, well, clowns, the Blacephalon clowns, whatever you want to call it. I would have been convinced I would beat that and lose to the Spiritomb deck. But hey ho, ladies and gentlemen. Right, I'm going to take a little bit of a break, grab myself a nice cold beverage. You guys are going to be no break at all, and then it's going to be round 3. Yay! All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we are on to round 3. I told you there just would not be much of a gap at all. I feel like I probably should have redone my avatar, but I have no interest in redoing my avatar. So I am playing against a lovely dude, and we just had a quick chat before the game, which is one of the, incidentally, right? Because bearing in mind these videos, like I've said, a lot of the point of the videos is trying to, show you guys how much fun PTCGO can be and how cool it is. It is way more fun when you are actually playing with people and you're having a lovely chat with them as you go. It really is. It's a lot of fun. I'll be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. There is a lot of fun to be had. And one of the things I'm really enjoying this tournament is just, we're in a big group chat before the game started, and I've been chatting with each of my opponents before the round start. It's a lot of fun. So, my opponent hits heads on a Stadium Nav. They are playing the Blacephalon deck, the one we lost to round 1, which is upsetting. Maybe they won't go as nuts as our opponent round 1 did? Would be nice, wouldn't it? Here's the thing, though. Remember, they're going second, so there is every possibility here that they go nuts and they weld a 2 energy on, get 5 energy in hand, or 4 energy plus a beast energy, and then hit an escape board or something with Jirachi, and actually they can get the turn 1 KO here. I hope they don't, but it is absolutely possible that they do. Now, they are going double Jirachi here, which is a really good play, basically using Scoop Up Net to ensure multiple uses of Jirachi, and one would imagine this is going to be a Dedenne. Yeah, so he can draw himself kind of a new hand of 6 cards. And what's cool for him here is he's actually drawing a new hand of 6 cards before using his second Stellar Wish. And bear in mind, he's not used a supporter yet. He's used a Jirachi, he's used a Dedenne, he's not used a supporter. So that Fiery Flint is going to get him pretty much all the energy he needs here. And if he gets a KO, that's it. I didn't want to bench Giratina, because it's not really doing me any good. I couldn't play Dedenne because I'd lose too many resources. There is a possibility that my opponent wins the game this turn. I hope they don't. But there is absolutely a possibility that I am going to... Oh, he's hit the welder. That might be it. That might legitimately be it. And he draws 3. If he's got a switch and 5 energy in hand, he's got it. Oh, why is he doing sad face? That's not sad face. Oh, I'm really sad I didn't beat you on the first turn of the game. No, it is actually not great for him. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to boss his orders up his Blacephalon. And I'm then going to use... Now, I don't have the KO at the moment. But what I can do is I can play Dedenne. And as long as I draw into... I didn't get it. Now, we'll play a couple of consistency cards down here. But oh my goodness, I didn't get it. This might lose me the game. Okay. I don't need Horror Energy. Right, okay. So we're going to use Ultra Space here. I know there's no actual targets, but now what we can do is we can Scoop Up Net the Oranguru, and then we can reuse the Oranguru, but we've shuffled our deck, which means we're not going to just draw the same card we put on top of our deck. It's not what we want. This is... There's nothing we can do about it, but we've lost a horror energy, and... No. That was it. That was the turn. That was the turn to try and save everything. As it stands at the moment, I think my chances of winning basically just diminished. What needed to happen there was I needed to get... Oh, and all I needed was a Dragapult VMAX. It's literally all I needed was Dragapult VMAX. And I played my Dedenne, and I used 2 Oranguru, etc. If he hits boss's orders and KOs my Dragapult... Wait, is that even that bad? Yeah, no, that's pretty bad. Because the thought process here is, if he KOs Dragapult, he's still got to get 2 Dragapult VMAX to win. But that was really bad. Whiffing Dragapult VMAX, and I'm playing for Mysterious Treasure, and I'm playing 3 of the VMAX, and we did see 8 cards. And see, here's the problem. Last turn, what I do is oh no, okay. So we can still win this. Oh, it's so difficult. I feel like I might be giving up Dragapult VMAX here. But I think this has got to be the way we go. So, are any of these useful? Yes, Galarian Zigzagoon is useful. Because in theory... And then we draw... Now we've got to hit the VMAX here. Okay, there's the VMAX. And the good news is here, we put a giant bomb on there, and if my opponent attacks, they actually get KO'd. Now... The moderately sad thing here, we don't have a scoop up net yet. Oh, okay. I was hoping if I shouted yet, I might draw into a scoop up net. We did not, as you saw, but, you know, can't win them all. Right. See, any basic Pokemon I want at this stage is going to be Jirachi. So what we're doing here is just grabbing ourselves, and the Malamar's Prize, of course the Malamar's Prize. Right. This is the kind of thing I should have known beforehand. No, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab ourselves a Mewtwo. That means if my opponent does take a KO, we can Mewtwo one of these 2 supporters on top of our deck, Oranguru to draw it, and then we're good to go. So, we can now max Phantom, and we're going to drop 5 damage counters onto the Jirachi, and essentially what we're trying to do here is manipulate the prize race a little bit. By taking a KO on the active, and then setting up the Jirachi for a KO, the hope is, if he attacks into me right now, he takes 14 damage and gets KO'd himself. And then I can hopefully draw a Scoop Up net, and that Scoop Up net will then get a KO on Jirachi, and then essentially he's taken prizes, but so have I. The sad news is I'm not playing Reset Stamp in this deck, and if he gets the KO, he's going down to 1 prize, and what I really need to do in such a situation is Reset Stamp him to give him a new hand of 1 cards. This is a winnable game, incidentally. Dragapult against Baby Blacephalon, for all the losing I might be doing at the moment. Although, let's be clear, it's not really a baby Pokemon. There are actual baby Pokemon, your Cleffa, your Igglybuff, etc. These are not the same. But it's a winnable game, but you need a little bit of luck. You need a fast start, and you need to be taking the key KOs. And that's just not what's happening here. Oh. Now, is that a sign that my opponent doesn't have the KO? See what we... Oh, no, he's got Switch, okay. We need Marnie now. We need a Marnie. We need to put my opponent down to a low hand. Oh, my goodness. He's just multiple Stellar Wishing every turn. But he doesn't have a backup attacker on the board right now. And he will lose that Blacephalon if he attacks. And I'll get a prize. So... yeah, see, this is still winnable. See, the problem is he is going to put that Jirachi active. That is definitely what he's going to do. He's going to put the Jirachi active so that I have to kind of attack into it, which is really not what I want to do here. Now, see, I'm not going to have a bench space here ready for Giratina. What would be awesome? Yeah, we go. So we do get the KO on Blacephalon, which is nice. Okay, and that'll get us our VMAX. Oh my goodness. Guys, we don't have oh my goodness. Okay, things have taken a dark turn, ladies and gentlemen. Things have taken a dark turn. We don't have the second energy. Now, this is why we play 1-1 Malamar, incidentally. Yeah. The entire reason we play 1-1 Malamar... Oh, my goodness. Oh, I can't do it. We can't do it, though. Because we've got to play the Mewtwo to get ourselves a supporter card. So let's do that now before we forget. And it's going to have to be Professor's Research because we need cards. Let's then use Oranguru to grab Professor's Research before we end up doing something really dumb. Okay. So now we've got a supporter card. So we can pop an energy onto... Let's make sure we got one in the discard, yeah. The problem is, I am fairly sure my Malamar is prized. Yeah, we need that Malamar. That Malamar is huge. Now, we've still got a chance, incidentally. We need to draw one of my 2 remaining Scoop Up Net. If we draw a Scoop Up Net, we can scoop up the Zigzagoon, get a... It's getting awkward, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting into an awkward situation here. What we really need is Jirachi, but we don't have the bench space. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to make a tiny, tiny little play here. We're going to Viridian Forest 1 energy out of our deck. And the theory here is there is now 1 fewer card left in our deck, so we have whiffed it. I think we've lost. I think we've just lost the game. It's because Malamar's prized. If Malamar wasn't prized right now, what we would be able to do is... we would be able to get the Malamar, then Malamar would accelerate an energy to Dragapult, and then we would have done that before Professor's Research. Mysterious Treasure would have got the VMAX, and we would have had the KO ready to go. As it is, we just don't. And there's no point even putting a giant bomb onto Zigzagoon because they can just do 100 damage, and bomb only works if there's 180 damage done. I honestly don't think at this stage there's any way we win the game. There were 2... like I say, this is a winnable game if things go your way. There were 2 things I needed. Either I needed that KO in the earlier turn, which I whiffed. See, and now he's going to play the Scoop Up Net on his own Jirachi, and he's going to take away that KO, and then it's basically over. Now, he is going to use Cramorant here, and Cramorant's actually going to KO the Dedenne, and that is going to be the game. He's going to do 160 to the bench Dedenne with Cramorant, and this, you know, this is a well-deserved, well-played win by my opponent. Nothing I could do. To be fair, even if I'd got the KO last turn, I think I would have lost to the Cramorant. Like I said, this is a winnable game, but it is an extremely difficult matchup for Dragapult. Dragapult's worst matchups are this and Pikachu and Zekrom. They are the matchups you really, really don't want to play against. And the problem is, you need to do really well. And I didn't. It's simple as that. I whiffed a couple of things in the early game. I mean, look, let's try and look on the bright side. Let's go half glass full. No, glass half full. He didn't beat me on the first turn of the game. That's quite nice, isn't it? Right, I'm going to see you in round 4, where we're going to try and get back to 2-2 and respectability. And now we're back with round 4. And, we need to win this game to get back to respectability, quite frankly. I really hope I've picked the right Dragapult every game. I'm just going to draw into a Jirachi Prism Star in a minute. I tested so much Jirachi Prism Star, and it was really fun, but you missed the giant bombs, and you just missed so much. Ouch. The problem with this hand is, I have got to drop 2 supporters playing Mysterious Treasure. And even when I drop 2 supporters playing Mysterious Treasure... Oh, he's playing Galarian Casolas. We need to be super careful here. Oh, wait, Fione. This is why we play Fione. Okay. The problem is, I can either drop... No. I've basically just got to... I've basically just got to play Mysterious Treasures and Quick Ball and then research. The downside is I am dropping 4 supporters on turn 1, which is not what we like doing. We do not like dropping 4 supporters turn 1. But that's about it. I did have a chat with my lovely opponent before the game, and he's playing Morpeko. Which is not what we were expecting to play against. Galarian Casola is something that absolutely terrifies us. But the good news is we can we do play Fione. So what we essentially do is we use Fione to force my opponent to switch their active Pokemon, and then that kind of mitigates a lot of the issues we would have. Because if you attack into Galarian Casola and they flip ahead, they get a KO. And what you really do not want to do here is have your opponent flipping, you know, to get free prizes on the same turn where you're flipping to get, where you're taking 1 prize. Like, if I'm putting all the work in, I don't want to take 1 prize while my opponent takes 3. That is not how you win the game. My Fione is, of course, prized. Why would it not be prized? That is extremely unfortunate. We do have both our boss's orders, and we do have Mewtwo and Oranguru, which together can recover boss's orders. But I'll be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, I am slightly upset about this. And it looks like my Inkay is also prized, so I can't get my Malamar. So we don't have Inkay, and we don't have... Okay, we're going to take that just so we can bin it into the discard. So we don't have Fione and we don't have Inkay. They are both cards we would very, very much like here. So, yeah. Not loving it, if I'm honest with you. And we're going to do that just so we get the attachment. So, not a great start to the game. It's not the end of the world. We can work with it. Now... yeah, so we do have to bench the Mew here, because Morpeko does actually hit the bench. So why don't we scoop up net the Giratina, and then we can put the Jirachi into the active, and then we can Stellar Wish. Now, do we want Marnie next turn, or are we going to Professor's Research? That is the question. What do we actually want next turn? What is the so next turn we want an energy, we want a Dragapult VMAX, and we want to get Jirachi out of the active. Everything in our hand is currently expendable, so we're probably going to Professor's Research next turn. Do we even want any of these cards? Yes. We want a Viridian Forest, so that if my opponent plays down something like a... that might be a really bad idea, actually. Because the problem is... my opponent... yeah. See, now the problem is, if they play Thunder Mountain, that is going to stick for the game. Which is not good. But we're going to grab ourselves an Oranguru, so if we do Mewtwo for a supporter, we got it ready to roll. We are then going to use Oranguru to place Giratina on top of me. Really, we're just drawing an extra card here. Okay. It's a Jirachi. That's doing us no good. So, Morpeko... it's not going to hit 100... well, it could hit 180, but there's no way it's going to. So I think what we do here is we just pass the turn. And we leave it over to our opponent. Now there's a tag call. Now presumably, are they going to get a Guzma and Hala? Oh no, just Cynthia and Caitlin. Cynthia and Caitlin gets a supporter back. Oh, see, Guzma and Hala's a very good supporter for them. Because they're going to be playing, Speed Energy. Incidentally, that's one of the reasons why we're keeping our, yeah, so they're going to hit 150 and get a KO here. And I don't have a counter stadium. So that was a big misplay on my part. Wasting both my stadium far too early. And my opponent doesn't know I'm only playing 2 stadiums, unless I've left my mic on, which I'm fairly sure I haven't. But I'll be honest with you, considering Morpeko V is supposed to be a very winnable matchup for my deck, I am not loving my start here. But then again, next turn I Mysterious Treasure for the Dragapult VMAX. I whack a Giant Bomb on. I pop a Dragapult down. Oh, okay, they haven't been able to attack yet. So maybe we can make this work. Oh, goodness. Oh, actually, recycle energy goes back to the hand anyway. So, let's try and make sure we do this in the correct order. So, first we're going to Oranguru. We don't want that now. Oh, we do hit a Marnie here. But we don't have the second energy and we don't have a switching option. So, let's use Jirachi now. Now, we do have boss's orders, but again, we don't have the energy and we don't have a way to get out the active. So let's not go crazy now. And in fact, there is nothing there that I want. There's nothing in that hand that I want. We might as well Giant Bomb the Dragapult. We might as well Mysterious Treasure to get ourselves the VMAX. And now the real question here is, do we Marnie or Research? And we know my opponent's got some stuff, but I need an energy and a way to get out the active to start putting the pressure on. So do I want 5 cards or 7? No. We play Marnie. We go sensibly. We play Marnie. Oh my goodness! We hit the horror energy and we hit the escape board. And a switch, incidentally, as well, just in case. But that's really good, because in theory, it means that next time I can switch to Jirachi and then escape board. And I've got the Mewtwo down for if I need to reuse. So we are good here. And then what we're going to do is Max Phantom the Jirachi. Oh, do we put Morpeko into range or do we? No. That Casola is too awkward. Now, the reason we're putting 50 rather than... Oh, there's my Fione. Okay. Now, the reason we went 50 on the Casola rather than fewer, and there is a... Obviously, it could have gone many, many different... Oh, my... Yeah, okay. No, I'm all right with this. Because the problem is now, what's going to happen is if I play Fione, they're just going to put up Lily's Pokédoll. We cannot attack into Galarian Casola. But it's only got 100 HP, which is very, very low. So we can KO it with the residual damage from Max Phantom, which is essentially what we're going to be doing here. Now... my opponent is going to be looking to get a 2-hit KO. Oh, I keep forgetting about Electro Power. So now they are on course for a 2-hit KO. And there goes Galarian Casola. Oh, but he attacked. Oh my goodness, this is nice. Because now, of course, my opponent... There's only 50 damage left on the Morpeko, and that's going to give up 2 prizes. So that is definitely what we're going for. So we're going to stick up the Jirachi. Now, I had an opportunity early game to put a boss's orders into the discard pile. There is a strong argument that I should have done so. I didn't. That's on me. Might as well Giant Bomb here, because if my opponent's going to take a KO, I want to make them work for it. I don't have another Dragapult ready to go. I need another Dragapult. What are we not going to use? We're not going to use Scoop Up Net this turn. So there's a Quick Ball. Oh my goodness, I want all of these cards. I literally want all of these cards. I need the Fione to make them switch. Fione is huge in this matchup. I need the Mewtwo to reuse boss's orders, but then again, I've still got 2 in my deck. I need the Marnie to play a supporter this turn, and I really need the Giant Bomb because... Or do I really need a Giant Bomb? Because in theory, if they hit 140, they get a KO and Giant Bomb does not activate. And they can hit 150 with Electro Wheel. Okay, so I don't need the Giant Bomb. So what I do is I Quick Ball the Giant Bomb. And we go and get ourselves a Dragapult. Because we need something ready for next turn. We bench the Fione because the Fione is absolutely huge. We play Marnie to give ourselves a new hand of 5 cards. And we get boss's orders, but it's a turn too late. We don't hit any energy. Okay. So I think we're going to have to use Fione's Whirlpool Suction. And my opponent's going to put Lily's Pokédoll active. Of course they are. Of course they are. But I'm not terribly upset by this. I think I'm going to save the Giant Bomb. Because if they get it going, they can just hit 150. But I've hit them with the Marnie. I need an energy. And the problem is I don't have an Inkay down, so I don't have the Malamar. So whiffing the energy is pretty bad right now. I'm hoping they're not going to get a KO next turn. But I am slightly terrified that my opponent is going to be able to get a KO next turn, and I'm just not going to have anything with which to respond. So there goes the Morpeko. I will take 2 prizes, and I can afford to give up a turn. So there's an energy, so... Oh, and there's a scoop up there. So we're not doing terribly. We're not doing terribly. And to be fair, we do have the Giratina, remember? So what I can do at the moment, while that Viridian Forest stays out, what I actually can do is play the Giratina to drop 2 damage on my opponent's bench. I can then scoop up net, discard Giratina using Viridian Forest. I had Viridian Forest out. That's how I get the energy. Why did I not Viridian Forest for an energy? Apologies to anyone watching the stream that was screaming, Wassy, why are you not using Viridian Forest for an energy? Because I definitely should have. Now also here, I would... Okay, so there's a spell tag, but it only works in the act. And there's no way I'm attacking that Casola. I am not attacking the active Casola. To be fair, I've got Boss's Orders. Boss's Orders is going to take out both of these, and I think I'm going to get the win anyway. But I am trying to point out my misplays here so people can get an idea of how to play better and how to not be silly. I was desperate for an energy, and there was a Viridian Forest on the field that I didn't use. I was thinking about it way too much as a counter stadium. Now, the good news is here, we can boss his orders. I don't really care about that Morpeko. Oh, he is going to torment me, but that's all right. I can just switch to I can use the other Dragapult. So now we can pop an energy down there, and we can go that there, and we can escape board. So if my opponent uses Torment to turn off Max Phantom, I can just retreat. And I don't think I need anything else here. So I think all I'm gonna... No, okay. We still need to use No, we don't even need that. So we're just gonna draw them in the other order. So now we put Giratina up and draw a card, but next turn I'm just gonna do the opposite anyway. Hey-ho. But now I can Max Phantom into the Galarian Casola. I can drop 5 damage counters onto the bench Galarian Casola. The ability and the spell tag only work when it's active. So rather than being KO'd and taking 4 damage to one of my other Pokemon, nothing happens. And then I can just take myself 2 prizes. And at this stage, I'm in a very good position to pull out the win. The Vione being prize sucked, but it didn't really matter because I was able to... Well, I was able to draw it off my first prize. And there were a couple of little misplays along the way in all of the rounds, incidentally. But we made it work. Now, my opponent... Okay, I was worried they were going to play a double custom catcher there. But everything is either a non-V, so I can scoop up net it in my hand, or it is Dragapult. That one just needs a second energy. That one can retreat for 1 energy. So there is the speed energy. He switches into Lily's Pokédoll. Now, as it stands at the moment, I have no way to get Boss's Orders. Yes, there is. So what we... No, there isn't. Because that's not going to work. Okay, so what we do is we Mallow and Lana. Yeah, we can afford to do the healing here. So let's get rid of a Giant Bomb and a Giratina. They're not doing huge work for me yet. We switch up the Jirachi. Healing's always good. We then Stellar Wish. Yes, we can do it. So we grab Mysterious Treasure. We then use Mysterious Treasure to put Inkay back and grab ourselves a Mewtwo. We scoop up net to get Mew off the field. We then put Mewtwo down to grab Boss's Orders and put it on top of our deck. We then use Oranguru to swap the scoop up net for Boss's Orders. We've already played a supporter card this turn, so it's completely irrelevant. That's upsetting. Yeah, we got Boss's Orders ready for next turn. So we might... Yeah, we're good. So what we'll do is we'll Max Phantom, drop the 5 damage onto Morpeko there. And then even though... What they're essentially going to do is they are going to Torment to turn off my Max Phantom, but because I've dropped the 5 damage on, I can just KO them with Shred. Or I can retreat and use Jet Assault, or potentially get the VMAX and retreat and KO with the VMAX. There is something cool about this tournament. I'm not just saying this because I've been, essentially contracted to make these videos. There is something really cool about being able to chat with your opponent before and after the game. Obviously, I'd rather be there in person, but the world does not allow that right now. Tournaments are cancelled for now. So it is really, really cool being able to have a chat with my opponent before the game and after the game, just to kind of check in. It is a little bit upsetting we keep losing to the Blacephalon deck, but you can't have it all, ladies and gentlemen. You can't have it all. Now, my opponent knows I've got boss's orders, and that's why I'm not terrified right now. They are clearly working on getting Morpeko rolling to do 180 with Electro Wheel, but because I healed with Mallow and Lana, that won't get the KO. So I've still got boss. And to be honest, if he leaves a Morpeko in the active, the non-V, I'm going to KO it. And if he retreats it to the bench, I'm going to use Max Phantom, and I'm going to KO it. So, unfortunately, this game is not going to last beyond this turn. Although I do love Morpeko, both as a Pokemon and as a deck. It's a very cool deck. But let's not waste any more time. We'll get the KO. We'll take the victory. And we will finish the tournament with 2 wins and 2 losses, with both our losses being to Blacephalon decks, which frankly just overpowered us. But I'm cool with that. My thing as a player is, I do not like losing when I draw nothing, when I don't have a chance to win. That is rubbish. I do not mind losing if I didn't make my deck properly, if I misplayed, or I just lose to somebody better. And yeah, I had a little bit of bad luck in my games against Blacephalon, but by the same token, I was playing against really good players, playing really good decks, who just played really well and smashed me. And I'm totally okay with that. So, there's going to be a little bit of a roundup thing recorded at the end, so I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I'm going to go and have a chat with my opponent I just played, and I'll see you in just a moment for a lovely little roundup. So, okay, look, 2-2, it's fine, it's good, it's respectable. No, it's not 4-0. I'd like to have gone 4-0, who wouldn't? But the fact of the matter is, I lost to 2 opponents who had really good decks and played really well and beat me fair and square. Yeah, I got a bit unlucky at times, but so did they, and I got a bit lucky at times, and it all kind of evened out. I like Dragapult as a deck. I wanted to play a Rebel Clash focused deck to celebrate the new set because I get really excited about new sets. And as much as I love that Bolton deck I showed you in the previous video, it's not as good as something like this. This is a significantly better deck. And I like Trixie decks. I mean, look how many one-offs I've got in here, right? It plays a 1-1 Malamar line, which, incidentally, right, through testing and everything, really did turn out to be a good shout. I had such a lovely day, such a fun time, and the fact is, I got to chat to all of my opponents before the games, and I got to chat to all of my opponents after the games, and I've friended some of them on social media now, and this is what Pokemon does. Like, I've said this in so many videos, that my favourite thing about Pokemon, seriously, go check the tape. I have said time and time again, my favourite thing about Pokemon is that I use it to make friends and see friends. And even though physical tournaments in local game stores are off at the moment for the obvious sad reasons, doesn't mean we can't be connecting with people. Get in touch with your local game store. Get in touch with game stores that, you know, maybe not that local, but come on, close enough. And just take part in some of these online tournaments. Online tournaments are happening more and more often at the moment, and I adore this. Now, I have 2 very young babies at home, so I am not entering as much of these as I would have done 4 or 5 years ago. I have visited literally dozens of local game stores all around the UK. And I have not found one that wasn't friendly and lovely and nice and supportive. There's a reason people generally refer to them as friendly local game stores. They're generally run by people who like playing games like me and you, and are extremely friendly. So check them out, have a go, ladies and gentlemen, get onto PTCGO, get in touch with your local game store. I assure you it is definitely worth the time investment. One more shout out to Pokemon for allowing me to do this, for commissioning me to do this. That was not something I ever expected them to do. And let's face it, you probably all know by now that I spend my days making videos about the Pokemon trading card game anyway. To have Pokemon pay me to do so is, I'll be honest with you, right? It's kind of a dream. Very, very cool. Now, unfortunately, these are the end of these videos, but don't worry. Videos generally about the Pokemon trading card game, it's an obsession. I ain't going anywhere. And thank you to you, lovely ladies and gentlemen, for taking time out of your day and watching this, because anytime you guys give up a chunk of your day to watch one of my videos, that is really cool of you, and please know that I appreciate it. But for now, I want to know what you thought about this tournament. I want to know if you're taking part in any of these tournaments. And here's a cool idea. Everyone shout out your local game store in the comments, would you? I want everyone watching to go and just give some love to the local game store in the comments, because that would be a cool thing to do. Go nuts, be nice, and then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, where we can talk about more Pokemon stuff. Yay! But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio. Bye!